Once upon a time, in the vast velvet sky, there twinkled a little star named Sparkle. Sparkle was smaller than the other stars, but her light shone just as bright. Every night, she watched the world below with wide-eyed wonder. She saw children laughing, trees swaying, and rivers sparkling under the moonlight. One evening, Sparkle noticed something she had never seen before, a shooting star. It streaked across the sky, leaving a trail of golden dust behind. Sparkle gasped and whispered to her friend, "Twinkle, where is it going?" Twinkle smiled and said, "That star is following its dream to explore the world below." Sparkle's heart fluttered with excitement. "I want to explore too," she declared. But Twinkle shook her head. "Little stars like us must stay in the sky. It's our job to shine." Sparkle felt a pang of sadness but didn't give up on her dream. That night, she closed her eyes and wished with all her might. "Please let me see the world, just once," she whispered to the wind. To her surprise, the wind gently swirled around her. "Hold on tight, little one," the wind murmured. Suddenly, Sparkle felt herself drifting downward, faster and faster. She landed softly on a fluffy white cloud, just above a quiet village. From her new perch, Sparkle saw rooftops, gardens, and a cozy little house. Inside the house, a boy named Leo was staring out his window. He spotted Sparkle and gasped. "A star," he cried. Sparkle waved her tiny light, and Leo waved back. "Come closer," Leo called, his voice filled with wonder. Sparkle hesitated but then floated down to his windowsill. "You're so beautiful," Leo said, his eyes wide with amazement. Sparkle blushed, shining a little brighter. "Thank you," she replied. Leo reached out a careful finger, and Sparkle landed softly on his palm. Her light tickled his skin, making him giggle. "I've never met a star before," Leo whispered. "And I've never met a child before," Sparkle said with a smile. They talked for hours, sharing stories and dreams. Sparkle told Leo about the sky, and Leo told her about the earth. As dawn approached, Sparkle knew it was time to go. "The sun is rising," she said sadly. "I must return to the sky." Leo nodded, though his heart felt heavy. "Will I ever see you again?" Sparkle promised, "Look up at night, and I'll be there, shining just for you." With a final twinkle, she soared back into the sky. Leo watched until her light blended with the morning stars. From that night on, Sparkle shone even brighter than before. She knew the world below was just as magical as the sky above. And every evening, Leo would wave to her from his window. Sparkle would twinkle back, her heart full of joy. She had followed her dream, and it was more. Once upon a time, in a cozy little village, there lived a tiny kitten named Whiskers. Whiskers was the most curious kitten anyone had ever met. Every day, she explored new places and discovered exciting things. One sunny morning, Whiskers spotted a shiny blue butterfly fluttering near the garden. Her tail twitched with excitement as she decided to follow it. The butterfly led her past the old oak tree and toward the edge of the village. Whiskers had never been this far from home before, but her curiosity kept her going. Suddenly, the butterfly vanished behind a tall, mysterious hedge. Whiskers took a deep breath and squeezed through a small gap in the leaves. On the other side, she found a hidden meadow filled with colorful flowers. The air smelled sweet, and the grass tickled her paws as she stepped forward. Just then, she heard a soft rustling sound coming from a nearby bush. Out popped a tiny rabbit with the fluffiest tail Whiskers had ever seen. "Hello," said the rabbit cheerfully. "I'm Benny. What are you doing here?" Whiskers smiled and introduced herself, explaining her adventure with the butterfly. Benny's ears perked up. "That's no ordinary butterfly, it's the Meadow Guide," Whiskers gasped. "The Meadow Guide? What does that mean?" Benny grinned. "It leads curious explorers to magical places like this." Together, they decided to explore the meadow further. They hopped over tiny streams and climbed small, mossy hills. At the top of the tallest hill, they found a sparkling pond. The water was so clear, Whiskers could see little fish swimming below. A wise old turtle named Oliver floated to the surface. "Ah, new visitors," he said in a slow, calm voice. "Welcome to the Whispering Pond. Whiskers tilted her head. Why is it called that? Oliver smiled. If you listen closely, the pond tells stories of the meadow. Whiskers and Benny sat quietly by the water's edge. Soft whispers filled the air, telling tales of brave animals and hidden treasures. As the sun began to set, Whiskers realized it was time to go home. Benny offered to lead her back to the village. Along the way, they promised to meet again for more adventures. When Whiskers finally reached her warm, cozy home, she curled up in her basket. Her mind was full of the day's wonderful discoveries. As she drifted off to sleep, she dreamed of magical meadows and new friends. And so, the curious kitten's first big adventure. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village nestled between rolling hills, the moon shone brighter than ever. Its silver light spilled over rooftops and danced on the tips of sleepy trees. Every night, the children of the village would yawn and snuggle under their blankets. But none of them knew the moon had a secret, a lullaby only the quietest hearts could hear. One evening, a curious girl named Lila stayed awake longer than usual. She tiptoed to her window and pressed her nose against the cool glass. The moon seemed to wink at her, as if sharing a hidden joke. Then, faintly at first, a melody floated through the air like a gentle breeze. It was soft and sweet, woven from whispers and dreams. Lila's eyes grew wide as she realized, it was the moon's secret lullaby. She held her breath, afraid the song might vanish if she made a sound. The notes curled around her like a cozy blanket, warm and comforting. Suddenly, the moon's glow pulsed, as if inviting her to sing along. Lila hummed quietly, matching the tune as best she could. To her surprise, the stars twinkled brighter, joining in harmony. Even the wind hushed its rustling to listen to their duet. Lila felt her eyelids grow heavy, but she didn't want the song to end. The moon, sensing her drowsiness, sang a little slower, a little softer. One by one, the village children sighed in their sleep, soothed by the unseen melody. Lila's yawn stretched wide, and she finally let herself sink into her pillow. As she drifted off, the moon's lullaby wrapped around her like a promise. "Sleep well, little one," the night seemed to whisper. And with that, Lila fell into the deepest, sweetest slumber. The next morning, she woke with a smile, wondering if it had all been a dream. But that night, when the moon rose again, Lila listened carefully. There it was, the same soft lullaby, just for her. From then on, Lila knew the moon's secret was hers to keep. And every night, she'd hum along until sleep carried her away. The other children never heard the song, but they always slept peacefully. For the moon's lullaby was a gift, shared only with those who truly listened. And so, under the watchful glow of the moon, the village dreamed on. "Sweet dreams, little ones," the night seemed to say. And the